good morning, good afternoon, or good evening, wherever you happen to be in the world, and welcome to Global Hack Week API Week. I'm really excited to be here. For those of you who are coming in and joining me, it's really exciting to see you all. I'm going to go ahead and post a couple of things in the chat here. First of all, I'm going to go ahead and change it, this lovely part, to my check-in link right here. As well as those of you who are joining, right, feel free to say hello in the chat. You can go ahead and find the check-in link. I just posted it for you to take a look at, right? So you can find both of those in the chat on whatever platform you happen to be watching on, Twitch or YouTube. Let me go ahead and just kind of give you a brief rundown of what we did on, 48 hours ago, give or take. And then tell you a little bit more about what we've got planned for the day. So I'm going to go ahead and grab my repository from last time. I'll show it to y'all in a little second, and both share my screen and actually post a link to it. For those of you who are looking to take a look at the repo and see some of our progress from part one, you'll go ahead and find it at ghw.mlh, not ghw.mlh.io, github.com. I'm going to post it up on the screen here for a second, and then I'm also going to go ahead and share my screen in just about a minute, and kind of give you the rundown. You don't need to have seen part one to follow along here with me today for part two. I'll get you caught up with everything you need pretty much, and we should be able to continue from there. So I'm going to go ahead and share my screen in just about a moment. Hopefully everybody's also doing pretty well. I'm doing pretty well myself. It's a nice chilly Sunday evening still here, but I'm excited to be live here for Global Hack Week. Let me go ahead and share my screen, pop in here to this window, and beautiful. So we've got our lovely little Global Hack Week tab. I'm going to put my Do Not Disturb on. There we go. We got our lovely little GitHub repository here from last time I was live. And as you can see, we mostly focused a lot on building out a super basic API. So what we did is we built out a nice route in JavaScript, right, where we can go ahead and get students by ID, a list of all the students, add a new student to our classroom, update a student by ID, delete a student's ID, get a student's average grades, and then also get a student's subjects. We both did this as a patch, and I also have some versions in Visual Studio Code as well that I'll share with you in just a minute. For those of you who, once again, are looking to potentially take a look at this repo here, right, give it a star or like or follow, whatever other things you'd might need, right, you can go ahead and find that right here on these lovely top buttons. But as we go ahead and take a look here, right, we have our data, our JSON format, and then also some curl commands that we wrote out. So these curl commands is what we are using in Terminal to test once our application was deployed. And then we can go ahead and, right, we have our base URL, our description, our kind of list of endpoints, so on and so forth. A couple of things that we might need to fix up from part one and go from there. But generally, I thought the main focus of today would be to kind of focus on how to deploy here, right? So working through, working through how to best, get this thing out in front of hackers or out in front of people, out in front of users, right? Whatever that might happen to be. And then we also have, my goodness, there we go. And then we also just have a couple more things planned, and we'll see what we can get done. And maybe, we'll create a database of some sort, or we'll figure some fun stuff out. I have a couple plans, and it's just kind of going to be the case of how far we can get with the things that I've planned. So that's pretty much going to be it. Let me go ahead and get started here. So we'll go ahead and work through kind of some cleanup initial steps here. So I currently have my Visual Studio Code shared with y'all. That is what I was using to build out the API last time during part 1. Like I mentioned, we have a student here. I'm actually going to go ahead and modify these student IDs here. This was something that I think I was trying to be a little too sneaky with on last time, and I just complicated it for no reason. So I think what we're going to do instead is just going to make sure that all of these student IDs are start with 2025. It's just the year they get added to the database, whatever that happens to be. Hopefully isn't too complicated, right? You could always, create like a graduation date modifier, right? You could store any other number here, use it as a unique identifier of some sort for a database. But at this point, what we're going to do is we're just going to, I think I was trying to be a little too sneaky with these and like use graduation dates in the student IDs. But it just really complicated creating the actual student ID. So that's definitely a change that I want to make from yesterday or from 48 hours ago, 2 days ago here. So in here, what I want to do is use S2025 XXX. There you go. Student exists in valid grade format. And there you go. And then we have our valid student ID function, which I believe is in my server.js file right here. And then we also have our lovely in here student.json. This is just my student data. It's student.js. I saw earlier that they were missing a comment on the patch, right? So this is, we talked about also in part 1, some of the differences between all the different types of kind of API requests that we can make. All right, so we did some things with get and post. We did some things with put and patch. We did some things with delete, and generally just kind of worked through our default. I think let's take a look if there's anything else I want to add on right now. If not, we're going to go ahead and just commit the changes and say ready for part 2. Commit time. Go ahead and commit this up here. And then sync my changes up. I'm using the built-in Visual Studio Code source control for now. And then now if I were to go to, my GitHub repository, right, I would be able to see those changes. It's just me committing here, right? So you're not going to be able to, well, you are going to be able to see some things, but you're not going to be doing a crazy amount of, what am I saying? You're going to be able to see the changes, right? I don't need to worry too much about crazy version control because it is just me. And that's pretty much it, right? Me, and that's all I'm working on. And I'm the only person who's, got the permissions to push up to the repository and kind of is the only one working on it. So the built-in version control works great in this sort of scenario. What we're going to do next is we're going to go ahead and pick a nice little deployment option. So I have been trying to figure this out. I have not deployed something in a really long time, which is kind of where the idea behind this stream came about. So I thought it'd be really fun to work with, something to get deployed. So I've been reading about, potential options. And back when I was working on stuff, it was mostly, use Heroku, and that was kind of the main thing. But since then, things have changed so much that I'm just going to go ahead and try and figure out, well, I have figured out a good resource that I want to at least take a stab at, and then we'll continue from there. So I'm going to create an account and then verify my email too. I guess we're going to take a look at my beautiful face in larger screen for a second. Yes, beautiful. That is fine. You can verify my email if you need to. I'm going to delete these emails. I need to get my package. Just got an email that I have a package. Exciting though. There we go. Okay, cool. So in case you're not familiar, I'm going to go ahead and share my screen here for a second. I'm going to be working with Render, which, like I mentioned, it's my first time deploying something that isn't static in a really long time. So you may have to bear with me and be a little bit more patient with me here as I figured it out. But what we're going to go ahead and do here is beautiful. So I'm going to do in the Render dashboard. Cool. This is my Render dashboard. I'm going to click New. Web service, fantastic. And then build and deploy a Git repository. Oh, that's very cool. Okay. So I'm going to go ahead and continue and give Render permission to look at my repos here. It opened up a new tab, which is why you can't see it. But in case you haven't heard, I have been, what is it? Oh, I need my authenticator code. Always exciting. Oh my goodness. Wait. I forgot to turn the music back on. I'm going to do this one. I like the music thinking intently, and the speech lulls a little bit. Okay, cool. So I'm doing source code here. Gonna try some deployments. Yep, doing great API. This is in right? Yeah, main. We'll do US East. I do have a scripting package though, Jason, right? But let me look. Alrighty, we're gonna go ahead and attempt to deploy here, which will be fun. I guess you can go ahead and check out my API in a second. Right here. That's fun. Okay, cloning. Sweet. This is cool. I also did unfortunately just realize that I forgot to grab my water. So I may, oh my goodness. Oh, my dog is being so sleepy. He's very sweet. All right, well, I got somewhere. So my build was successful, now it's working on deploying, which is exciting. I'm gonna go ahead and take this time to grab a quick drink of water. I will be right back. Oh, it's running. Okay, hold on. I need to run it on. There's now things I need to fix up here. I still want to go ahead and get my water real quick. I know exactly what I left on my kitchen counter. But I am going to go ahead and on here, leave. Okay, new primary port detected. Oh. Okay, it is working. Okay, awesome. Wait, that worked great. Oh, wait, why am I shocked? Okay, well, that was actually really smooth. If you're going to check out the Student Grid API, make a call at Student Grid API on Render for now. See what happens. Might break some stuff, but you know what? Why not? That's cool. But yeah, feel free to check out my Student Grid API right on here. There should be specific commands that you might need to pull here. Just for a little bit. I am going to go grab my water real quick. I will be right back. I'm back. Let me remove the quick water break banner because I always forget to remove the quick water break banner. As a quick reminder for everybody, because I see there's a couple more new people here. If you're here and you just joined, go ahead and say hi. I'm excited to see you. For those of you who are coming in and, missed kind of the first parts, let me send a couple of useful links for you here. I have a couple of them. So apologies in advance if you hear a rustling of anything in the background. My dog is being really cute and he's eating his dinner and taking a nap. And he sighs very dramatically once I'm taking a nap. Anyway, first of all, if you have not gotten the chance to check in, make sure you go ahead and do that at this link right here. Second of all, if you want to check out our repository so far, this includes all the work that we've done in part 1 and I guess some of the things that we've done in the last 20 minutes. You can go ahead and find that at that link right there. And then last but certainly not least, if you would like to take a look at my deployment, which is so exciting, you can go ahead and find that on this link right here. I'm gonna leave that one up on here for a second. What I am actually gonna do is I am gonna, in the GitHub settings here, I am gonna enter a valid URL, which is exciting. So now you can also go ahead and access the URL straight from our GitHub page. So I'll leave this back up here, right? It's the most useful one to have as the long-term proceeds. What I would like to focus on for the remainder of the time today is potentially working on replacing the student JSON file with a database that we can kind of connect to, and seeing how that would work, and also potentially implementing some authentication. We'll see how we're doing on time. Let's start there. Alrighty, we're gonna go ahead and mess around, I think, with Mongo, and generally create some new things there. Maybe get a couple more things done. Alrighty. Let's see here. Let's go ahead and, like I mentioned, work a little bit on Mongo here. So a couple things. I am going to first click on creating my account, make sure everything is set up. I should already have an account and everything with Mongo. I've messed around with it in the past. It also has been a while though, so. I'm trying to find my organization settings page really quickly. My apologies. It is just... for some reason, harder than you'd expect. All right, cool. Need to do some random Mongo thing cleanups, but that's okay. And unfortunately, it's some stuff that I can't really show right now. So I'm deleting some projects that are defunct. This is why it's usually important to clean up this stuff ahead of time. But everybody who's new and just joined in, hi, I'm excited to see you. Take a look at our lovely API and our GitHub page. You can see our local deployment. You can see our GitHub links to both. Well, link to GitHub, which has a link to local deployment, is up. If you want to figure out some of the things that you can potentially pull, well, you're welcome to try. So exciting. That's actually really cool. It's case sensitive. That's useful. Alrighty, perfect. Now I get to set up a MongoDB organization. I'm gonna go ahead and do this really quickly. Alrighty, I think we're almost there. Beautiful. So let me go ahead and get everybody kind of caught up here. So here's what I just went ahead and got started. I went and logged in and cleaned out a bunch of my super old, like MongoDB things that I need to be cleaned out. I was in a project from a person I haven't talked to in 8 years, so it was about time to clear it up. So we're gonna go ahead and created a new project. We're gonna go ahead and click on database here. Do I need to create a cluster? No. Yes, I do need to create a cluster. Cool. I'll go ahead and create our deployment here. I should probably All right, there we go. We're going to start over on that stuff. It's doing some chaotic things right now. Hold on. Hello. I love the MLH emoji. Thank you for coming and joining us. We have some craziness going on with my cluster real quick. So I'm going to go ahead and wait for MongoDB to kind of figure some things out here real quick. And then we'll go ahead and once that's done, we'll proceed. Apparently, a bunch of my friends are stuck on plates. Okay, cool. Let's go ahead and build a cluster here. I'm going to build my test cluster. Create that deployment here. Ooh, it's cold. No, I don't want to update anything. I'm going to go ahead. Yeah, I know my screen share is off. I have to get some like password stuff set up real quick with a .env file, but I will get it up in a second. Let me actually let's go ahead and do a little bit of that first. We're gonna go ahead and no, I appreciate you pointing it out because I will forget to add screen share on. I'm gonna go ahead and do some of the setup in here with y'all. No, it shouldn't be allowed. Make it .env here, cool. And then in here, then I'm gonna go ahead and grab. I'll go ahead and grab my password. So I'll stop sharing for a second here. All right, cool. So now we have our env file here. Let me share my screen again. I'll share my VS Code starting at this point. I'm going to go ahead and close the env file, and then I'm going to go ahead and grab in here. Let me go ahead and commit and say added to git ignore. Commit this and then push it up. And then we're going to attempt to set up Mongo, which will be fun. create a new terminal window. This is where, if me typing a password would be easier if I just remembered to do a lot of stuff. I'm going to copy here. Install Mongoose. Beautiful. And also install .env. Wonderful. All right, so we're going to go to my server.js file. And then in here, we're going to try to figure out some other things that we might need. So we're going to make some changes to code here. First of all, we need to now import Mongoose. Hold on. Copilot's being impatient. Also need to import .env, cool. And then what we'll do is we'll do, and here run read.config. We'll do process environment.port and then MongoDB connection. We have our helper functions, of course, right? Add a student ID, load student data, save students, and then get, use, and start the server. So let me go ahead and do the, up here, run the MongoDB connection, right? So mongoose.connect, and in here, those should be good here. And then we'll want to go ahead and do, we want to create a models file. Okay. Let's go ahead and try to run here. Just try locally. These are my curl commands from. Anyway. Cool. So we're still connected to our student API. That's a good start. What we'll do next is we'll go ahead and create a Mongoose model. So we'll, I guess we'll need a new folder, models, and then in the new folder, new file called students.js. And here we want to import Mongoose. Right, and then we'll create a grade schema. And then from here, what we'll do after is we'll create a constant schema. And then we also want it to match perfect. Our name. And my grades go into our grade schema. And we'll export our student. Other thing I think I would want to add potentially, and so we'll add a comment here to do this. So add graduation here. And then we'll do to do modify student these two. All right, go ahead and do that. And then we want to replace all JSON file references with the student model method. So if we go into routes, okay. That is scary. All right, so instead of importing have here, we're not going to need this. We want to import. I don't think we need load soon and save students either anymore. So go ahead and do import student. All student. What I do, however, want to import is valid student ID. And then server.js here, I don't think we want these two functions anymore. I don't think we want to load or save students' JSONs. Go ahead and continue from this point. And then this is our student.js model, student JSON file from earlier. These are our README previews, student.js routes. Okay, let's continue in here from there. Cool, and then we get all students. So now instead of running load students, we want to be able to run wait student.find. We need to change to async, that's fine. And get router, get ID. So students is await student.find one, right, for ID. And then yep, and then if not student, then error, otherwise return the student. Cool. I'm gonna post a new student. Without student ID. Without student ID, missing required field. Student ID already exists. Okay, hold on. This one's messy. This one's super messy. We're gonna trash this. I'm going to do post, student create a new post. Yep. And then return, then try, create a new student. And then catch error. I don't think we want to. I do think there are some changes that I generally want to make, right, to improve the quality of this tool, right? Some other things going on. Oh wow. Got a very random email. right. Anyway, let's go ahead and take a look here. There's a couple things I want to update. Most importantly, I don't want to always figure out, can I use, okay, need something. All right, let's take a look here. I feel like I need to fix my blanket. It's freezing cold back in my apartment again. Hold on. Let me put my, that's what my little Emma Later cartoon's for. Gotta make sure it's me though. There we go. Yeah. Alrighty, there we go. I'm back. Cool. Let's see here. So I want to update. Okay. Do I want to update a student name by ID? And then I'm going to go ahead and make the request. I don't really understand what this code is doing. Hold on. I need a little bit more time. So, one ID, I, to the student, if I want to update name. Okay. If not updated student. Okay. Okay, sure. We'll see if this actually ends up working. This might be more of a long-term thing than I thought. Okay, cool. My dog is snoring the evening away. It sounds very precious. Alright, amazing. So get a student's subject, a student's average grade, add grade to student, creating a student, get a student by ID. We'll stick with that for now. Yeah, no, go to bed, please. Don't feel like you have to stay up It's 3 in the morning and it's also a Sunday, so please definitely get some extra rest. All right, we're gonna go ahead and, or it's a Monday now. So at this point, let me go ahead and push up changes to get Mongo. You're working here, we'll commit. Get this set up, which is cool. Let me make sure that if I go to GitHub here that I don't see my env file. Go from there. Yeah, no .env file, which is good. And then we'll go from here. Probably just run the thing, right? Try to deploy it maybe? Refresh here. All right, I'm gonna go ahead and swap my screen over real quick to render. I'm going to deploy my latest commit. We'll see what this does. We'll continue from here. Oh boy. Okay. Ooh. All right, well, time to keep trying to figure this out. It was fun. Let's maybe, I should have probably run it locally before I definitely get models. House. It's capital. Well, that will do it. We'll try it again. Students.js. Oh my god, I hate when that happens. The requested module server.is does not provide an export named Vaults 290. Let's try that again. Hey, that will do it. Hopefully. We try localhost 3001. From here. Okay, sick. Cool. So that's at least a good start. We're gonna go ahead and I know for a fact that's gonna be down right now. This one. Actually, no, it won't be because it failed the build. So cool. Yeah, I don't want to show that. All right, I'm gonna go ahead and remove here. I'm gonna push it up. Push up the debug and then deploy in a quick second. So commit. Yeah, I forgot to. Yeah. Added. This is why I need a million things. I'm gonna just go ahead and here. I will see you'll do error fixing. A little app. Commit, sync up, go from there. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Okay, went ahead and pushed this up, which is good. We'll continue from here. I'm manually deploy the most latest commit. Share in here this window, and we're going to see if the deployment works now. It'd be really cool if it does. I don't even know if half the things are working, but that's okay. You know, it happens sometimes. Yeah, okay, so the deploy has started. Oh, apparently it said the deployment is live. Let's see. We're going to try and troubleshoot this error too. Y'all, every time I like turn around to like fix my blanket, my dog just looks so precious. He's sleep. He's so sleepy. Look at this. Let me do this. And that's when I launched the app on render. I need to add my ENVs in my render dashboard. That will do it. All right, cool. Let's work on that then. We're gonna go to my dashboard then. Okay, how would I do that? Let's figure that out. So go to my render dashboard, open my long service, go to the environment tab, click add an environment variable. Oh, from ENV. Ooh, cool. Okay. I'm gonna go ahead and stop sharing my screen for just a second while I grab that ENV key for y'all. Or for myself, I guess. Alrighty, so I clicked the Save, Rebuild, and Deploy button. So now if I go to my events, I'm going to go assume that my deployment here is running. I am going to go ahead. Yeah, I just canceled that 802 deployment. I'm going to just look at this 805 here. We're going to see what this looks like. So we're waiting for our build logs. And from here, we'll see. If we can get this working, that'll be really exciting. And then we should be able to continue some other cool things from there. Probably just do some cleanup of like our repositories and then go from there. Wait for a second. Yep, checking out. I'll just go ahead and wait for a minute. Alrighty, we're waiting for this to wrap up. Cool. Now this circle. Boom. So if I do students, we'll see what happens. But this loading time has me concerned. Aha! Internal server error. Exciting. Okay, cool. So let's try to debug here. First of all, we've got some warnings here to deal with. So operation students not find, timed out after 1,000 milliseconds. We actually have to set up our MongoDB. So that makes sense. Alright, cool. So makes sense that we can't actually connect up. I don't think it's anything wrong with the code here. What I do, however, want to make sure is I do want to. There's something I wanted to do. I forgot what. Snoring. Interesting. Okay. Oh, I want to fix those mornings first. Okay, cool. So we've gone ahead and gone through that setting here. For anyone who's curious, let me just actually go ahead and share my screen here. We got an error a little bit ago, right? About right using a URL parser and use unified topology being deprecated, right? So they've been to the default settings since version 4, and they're just saying that they're going to be removed in the next major version since they're default, and it doesn't make much sense. So I'm going to do this and here. We'll do remove MongoDB warnings. I'll commit this and push this up. Obviously, won't fix our errors currently on either the live deployment or locally. In order to do that, we'll need to grab our MongoDB cluster and go through that whole process. So let's go ahead and work on that. Go to my clusters. We have test data. We're gonna go ahead and remove the database here. If anyone's curious, what we're gonna work on now is open up our test data instance. There we go. Cool. So we do have tested students, and what I want to work on is, of course, potentially you can do the insert document button. Cool. So can I just grab student.json and that should work fine? Let's go to STEM. Cool. Nice, okay. So in theory now, we're going to go to logs, events here, deployment live, is commit. Let's go ahead and open up this section. Cool, and I do want to go ahead and pull all the students. Let's see what happens here. We might still get timed out. I have a feeling we will. Yep, cool. So we are getting internal server error here. Let's see what's happening in this. I might go ahead and try to run this locally. We'll see if we run into the same error. We don't. Interesting. Very interesting because we get the full list of students. We do S. Yeah, and it pulls. We should be able to clean up a little bit of potentially this data set. So right, we'll see this. Okay, so apparently my render logs will have some insight. Make sure your current IP address is on your commit list. We'll do it. All right. They're definitely going to do this. And so how would I go ahead and do that? Let's take a look at those errors again. Okay. I'm going to go ahead and stop sharing just for a second here. So what I need to do, I need to go to and I'll go to the database and network access settings for a project. Okay. Cool, I found it. IP address list. All right, cool. I went ahead and added a default IP address here that will last for about 6 hours. So I'm going to go ahead and just show you all here. All right, so in here I have this IP address that will, last for only about 6 hours. And so it's temporary access for testing purposes. We're going to see if this fixes the error that we've been running into. Go ahead and go to my events here. In the meantime, what I think we'll go ahead and do is I'm going to go back to sharing VS Code here. And I am going to just say that we should likely rename this path to test_data. We'll do temp_data. Then we have models, right, route, and temp data here, A, B, or git ignore, readme.md. What I want to do is I want to grab this readme and say, we'll make sure that it's updated. All right, cool. I'm gonna go ahead and hop into that. I'm going to spend some time updating our README here. We're going to do our String-based API production. And then what we're going to do is, of course, do our base URL is then in here do localhost. We're of course making changes to our, you know, and then we'll do our section here on running locally. Oh wait, my context shifted in my eye. Ah. All right, we're doing good so far, which is great to see, of course. You know, making progress slowly but surely. We'll go ahead and see if we can even time out here. We're gonna see if this even works. But you know, we'll get what we can done while we can do it. Go from there. I'm gonna go ahead and do update readme, move temp data, commit, some changes up, and continue from there. Put this down locally, and then we'll see if we can continue here on render. Close out here. And we'll wait for this auto deployment to finish. It'll take just about a couple minutes. Perfect. We're going to go ahead and commit changes. All right, so we've gone ahead and update our README here, so it looks nice. I'm going to go ahead and turn the music down a little bit on my end. This beauty. Waiting for the deployment. All right, because I just updated the README again. All right, beautiful. We are actually able to pull data, right? So now if I were to do students, we've got Alice here. And we'll actually just get her data, which is pretty awesome. I can turn on anything else. And then we'll go from there, which is cool. Let's see if we can get some user authentication here. Let's work on user auth. So we're gonna do, let's do JWT that authentication. Cool. Okay. No, this is great. And this is actually, we're getting farther than I thought, which is awesome. So, which I'm totally okay with. We'll go ahead and do next is, let's go back to this code. I'm going to go ahead and share my screen from that for sure. Oh my goodness, Tom. Alrighty, cool. Let me go ahead and get more comfy. There we go. Amazing. Ooh, sit crisscross applesauce. Let's work on this GWT thing. So these at this point, I've never done this before. So let's see what we can figure out. Let's figure it out together, hopefully. Go ahead and jump in and in here do npm install. We'll run bcrypt JS and JSON web 2. We'll run these. And then we'll need to create a model in here for users. All right, so we're gonna go ahead and models here. A new model. We call it user.js. We'll do import mongoose and import brekip. Nope, we don't want that text. Cool. Do user schema. Then sure, hash passwords. Create a Canada password the stored hash. And then here we'll need a route. In a route we'll need an auth.js. Cool. And apparently we'll need a folder called middleware. I'm flying high with chat here. Do new file, do auth middleware.js. Pop this in here. And then in my server.js, and I need Express Mongoose cores. I need the student routes. I need the auth routes. And I need users. Or not user, I need authentication token. All right, cool. So in my env, I'm going to need to go ahead and stop sharing my screen for just about a second. In my env, I'm going to need to add in JWT. A JWT secret. Alrighty, cool. So I've gone ahead and created my JWT secret in my env file, which is fun. And then here, right, we have my auth middleware, which is what I just worked on. Also need to go to my authentication routes. To users.js here. Move this part. All right, cool. So now I think I should be able to just start. I cannot find auth.js. Yeah. All right, cool. So now I'm going to go ahead and try to test this out here. Oh, that's fine. Whatever. Yeah, thanks for stopping by. We're going to go ahead and try to push up these changes. We'll do we'll call this auth attempt. Number 1, we'll commit. Bring these changes up. Oh, you're kidding me, right? Need to merge. It's fine. Die for meat edits. Need a new terminal now. Great, cool, amazing, fantastic. Now if we were to go ahead and open this back up again, I'm gonna go ahead and share my screen here. See here. Right, we have a bunch of merge stuff. That's fine. Off attempts, fixing duplicates. We'll go to student grade API. We'll go to my events. We'll go to logs. Okay, so theoretically the deployment here worked. So then I need to log in. See what happens. Cannot get /login. That makes sense. It's off. All right, I do need to actually go and grab my JWT token here. I'll go ahead and definitely don't want to leave here. I'm going to go to my student grade API and go to my environment. And here I need to add a new variable where, so I'm going to go ahead and stop sharing my screen for like right about a second. I go ahead and paste this in. Perfect. So we have the actual secret token. Change it to JWT secret. Do that. Save, rebuild, and deploy. We'll see what that does. We'll see if it even works out. And if not, that's okay. We honestly made more progress than I ever expected. So I'm really happy with what we've managed to get done so far. Let's go ahead and take a look, see here. If there's anything else that I want to add or do or something. Yes, I know. That's because I had to update a secret code or a JWT secret. But we're going to go ahead and go to events here. We definitely run a manual deployment. Let's go ahead and try that. We'll see what happens here. Alrighty, while we go ahead and finish up the very end of our stream here, there's a couple of things. First of all, I want to thank you all very much for coming. If you have not yet gotten a chance to check in, make sure you go ahead and do so before the stream ends. So I'm going to go ahead and paste the check-in link up for you in just about a second. So where is my link? That is it. I'm going to go ahead and grab our check-in link right there. So if you need to still check in, make sure you go ahead and do so at this lovely link right here. And the main thing that I want to talk about, and I'm going to go ahead and put this on the screen in just a second, is to make sure that you give us all some feedback. for your GHW experience. So you can find the feedback form at emily.link/GHW feedback. I'm going to go ahead and paste it in the chat. It's also on the bottom of your screen. We'll do that. There you go. Cool. We'll do it as the feedback form right there. And then also, I'm going to go ahead and roll the check-in link. One more thing I'm going to share before we head out is I'm going to share my GitHub repository here. So I'm going to run our GitHub repo link right here. So if you're ever interested in seeing some of the things that we did during this part, make sure you go ahead and check that out. GitHub repository link right there. But as I go ahead and wait for the last kind of attempt to spin up here, and we'll see what we can make do with our lovely project. Generally, I'm very pleased with how this series of streams went, but obviously I want you to be pleased with how this series of streams went. So if you happen to have enjoyed your lovely time over at this Global Hack Week, make sure that you go ahead and give me some positive love or constructive criticism. Both are fine. Always appreciated. Over at that GHW feedback link. Now that link will let you, kind of give feedback to all of the beautiful streams that you're going to see this weekend or this week. Because, we continue on into the week. So what you can go ahead and take a look at is see all of those lovely... Look at this. Yeah, you can see all of those lovely lists. They're sorted in time order, right? So I'm going to be somewhere near the top in between day 3 and day 4. You can also always look up the words, right? Like if you look up document and deploy, you'll see that list of items show up there. And that's always helpful for, having you see whatever you might need to see and give any specific feedback to a streamer that you might have. We always appreciate the feedback. It helps us, make better choices about what we're going to be teaching about and then what we might want to work on in the future. Right? So generally, right, that's what we kind of recommend. And then that's pretty much it. I'm excited to see y'all in the next Global Hack Week. That's when I'm going to be kind of streaming next. I won't be there for a bit because my time at Global Hack Week API has unfortunately come to a close, which is okay. But, generally speaking, obviously, I'm excited to see y'all at the next Global Hack Week. I think it's Global Hack Week AI. Let me double check. Actually, it's another great resource I'm going to send real quick. Yes, it's AIML. Lovely. But you can go ahead and find, our Global Hack Week resources at ghw.mlh.io. They are right here on the screen. Really quickly going to show up. I'm going to put the feedback link back on. But generally, that's something to keep in mind there. We're still, unfortunately, doing our test run here. That's what I'll end off on. We'll end up on our test run. But I am going to go ahead and open the floor up to any questions if you have any in the last few minutes. It is a fun week. I'm a big fan. Oh, fun question. How long have I been a member of MLH? Oh my goodness, it's been so long at this point. I think I started at MLH almost 3 years ago. Yeah, it's been about 3 years. It's gonna be 3 years in right in December, which is pretty exciting. Let's see if our off even works. Cannot get off. You know what? That's okay. Well, we got a decent amount of way there. I'm excited about all the progress that we've made. I need to go ahead and get some beauty sleep. I got a long day tomorrow. But thank you all very much for coming. I really appreciate you all stopping by. It was awesome to get to hang out and build something cool. And I'm honestly pretty proud of the amount of things that we got done. Was I a student when I started? I was. Yeah, I was a student and then I graduated. And now I've been, oh my goodness, now I've been working for almost a year and a half, right? Or a year and a bit. It's been like, I graduated in May 2024. So yeah, it's been about a year and a half. Just exciting. It's been a fun year and a half of doing things, but yeah. All right. Well, thanks y'all very much for coming. Make sure you give us some feedback over at mlh.link/DHW feedback. I'm going to go ahead and hop off and get some beauty sleep, and I'll see you all in the next one. Bye.